Hey everyone, I'm Christian Chu, and this is On Point, the only show on SITTV that doesn't require a fact check, because I'm always right. Episode 5. The SGA is now heavily encouraging student organizations to host joint events in an effort to save money. One such example is the case of Art Club, AAEEES, and PAX. All three budgeted for egg painting events, only now Art Club has to take their Ukrainian-themed event, and AAEEES has to take their spring-themed event and make it work with PAX's Polish-themed event, all at the request of the SGA. That, however, was just one in a handful of oddities that came from the budgetary cuts. In addition to the numerous debates of which budget categories should get funding priority, there was this persistent theme of different RSOs needing to share funding for similar events. Throughout the 10-hour budgeting meeting, I witnessed several cases of RSOs getting confronted with a choice of contacting another student organization to hold their event together or to not have the event at all. In these instances, one organization would keep their funding and the other would get it cut. However, the burden of reaching out to ask for a possible co-sponsorship would rest on the organization whose event got cut. I don't really like this trend, especially since we have a bunch of new student organizations with everything to prove and no track record to show. On the other side of things, we have existing student organizations who have been consistently putting on well-attended events, and the last thing we should do is punish them for doing good work. I remember a time not so long ago when we used to prioritize on-campus events. RSOs used to have comfort in the fact that we as the Senate would wait until all other options were exhausted before we started slashing their events entirely. And this is only becoming a problem as of recent due to the reduction of the student activity fee and the increase of the general service fee. In other words, less money is going towards the funding of student-powered events and more money is going towards facilities that we have no control over. To add to the problem is the heavy burden lying on the treasurer's head each semester as he and the CCSI, now Vice President of Student Interests, try to estimate how much unspent money will roll over into the next semester. There is currently no way to gain an accurate value of the rollover number, so each semester it just devolves into a guessing game. You have the total amount of requests by student organizations, you have the amount collected by the student activity fee, and you have the anticipated rollover. The sum of the rollover and the activity fee collection have to be greater than the total of requests, but rarely is that the case. This is why the SGA Budget Committee has to go into each budget and look for items to cut. Adding to the stress is the fact that the rollover estimate is just that, an estimate. It could only take one unlucky semester where the SGA anticipates a rollover of $30,000 and only end up with a rollover of $20,000 to land everyone in big trouble. Senators in the Budget Committee are split on which organizations should get funding priority. Some senators state that RSOs who hold events should get it first. Others say professional societies should get the money for conferences due to the high costs of attendance. Some say the link's scanning budget should be the lowest priority. Others say non-RSOs are the lowest priority, but if we leave non-RSOs without budgets, I'm sure it would create even more problems than it would solve. It's a mess of 10 students' opinions, and it's a situation that seemingly has no outcome where everyone is happy. We already have an idea of the nightmare that the SGA is dealing with, but to find out how people outside the SGA are taking this, we've brought in 3 student leaders from varying organizations on campus. I could have talked about this issue on my own, but I wanted to get outside my echo chamber and hear what other people are thinking. I will consistently stand for fiscally conservative values, but I won't demonize people who disagree with me. Our guests today are from the e-boards of Art Club, the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists, and the Society of Women Engineers. I specifically reached out to these people because I knew they had a story to tell but a limited audience to listen. So let's get started. Before being synonymous with fruit jams, the Art Club was called Art Installations Club. We're joined with the president of the Art Club, Marco DeJapin. Marco, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So you are a mechanical engineer, correct?
I might as well be. So
what's your year?
I'm a sophomore right now. So I'm actually a chem bio, by the way. I lied to you about that. So
Why'd you choose mechanical engineering?
I just love Billa. So that's what really drew me to the field. I transferred out after my third semester into mechanical engineering.
Nice. So how did you get started with art club?
Well, my brother was a big part of the art club. Well, not a big part. He went to it and he liked it a lot, and he had a lot of friends in it. So he was really active in it. And when he was finishing up his master's, I was entering as a freshman. And of course, you know, what are siblings going to do but peer pressure you into things? So he pushed me. He's like, Marco, come on, you got to come. And I came, and I liked it a lot. And I stayed, and I met a lot of great people in it. And it was a really good club for me as a freshman, and it still is now.
Nice. What cool things are art club doing next semester?
Well, we're going back to Cooper Hewitt as one of our gallery trips. We're going to go to the Whitney Museum of American Art. We have a critical viewing of Garden of Words, I don't know, by Makoto Shinkai, if you're familiar with his work.
I don't know.
And we have a couple workshops planned out. So we're trying to focus them more on painting, because this semester we just ended with a Bob Ross event, and we finally made the big initial investment into like painting supplies, which are insanely expensive. So now all we got to do is buy paint and boards, which is not as hard on our budget.
So how can people find out more about art club? Like when you're having an event, if someone's not on campus and they don't see the flyers, how can they get the information digitally?
Unfortunately, not many ways. That's actually one of the things we're trying to work on. Art club wasn't too big before last year, and this semester we're still trying to work it out. And it's pretty hard because our e-board, it's not an excuse, but our e-board is nothing but computers.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just, you know, we're not really on campus a lot. We're always on the move. So it's definitely something we're working on. You know, getting flyers out early. I think we started an Instagram, definitely. So I couldn't tell you the name of it, but we do have an art club Instagram.
All right. Are you still guys? You guys running Twitter still? I remember.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. You budgeted for the next semester an egg painting event.
Yes.
The SGA cut that. Do you want to explain like their reasoning?
The reasoning, how I understood it, was they told me their reasoning about 10 minutes before the budget meeting. I had no idea what was going on, but I found out, of course. That's not to knock them. And then how I understood it was we just all had similar events, so they were just going to fuse us into one super event underneath the umbrella of PAX. I don't know what they're specifically doing yet. I tried reaching out to them and finding out what, because we were trying to do a Ukrainian type of egg painting called pasanka. I hope I pronounced that right. Where you take an egg and then you dye it, and then you add wax in certain layers and then dye it again in order to get these interesting geometric shapes. So I'm not sure if they're just doing more of a like Polish cultural event or if they have something similar. You know, so I'm hoping that it's something. I'm hoping that they have that kind of thing as well, because that's what we were trying to focus on as art club. So.
Ukrainian event. So are you Ukrainian, or is anyone on your club Ukrainian?
I'm Serbian, but I'm actually from Canada.
Why Ukraine for the egg painting event?
It was just, well, if you want the honest answer, we were trying to brainstorm events, and we wanted to do an egg painting event. So we looked into various egg painting art forms, and the first one that came up was pasanka, and it looked really good. Like some of these eggs were absolutely crazy.
So you wanted to diversify it, right?
Yeah, we wanted to diversify it a bit. And
then my last question before we go, what do you think is the dankest meme of 2016?
See, that's a tough one, because Pepe's been making a comeback. There have been a lot of Pepes. There's been Dat Boy. Dat Boy is a good one. But I'd probably have to go with, if I had to go with any frog meme, it'd probably be the evil Kermit. For the sole purpose that it floors me every single time. So. Nice.
I like the one where it says "Pass me the aux," and it's the guy from Home Improvement making like weird noises.
Oh no.
Joe Biden, also a good one.
Wait, like the old Joe Biden or like the new Joe Biden?
The new Joe Biden.
The new Joe Biden.
Where he's like pranking the White House.
True.
Old Joe Biden is kind of creepy, and I don't really like it.
I think you can drop the kind. I think it is pretty creepy.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
The environment is a great thing. Don't ruin it. There's only one planet in the solar system that can sustain human life, and it really only works for us in the right conditions. Therefore, environmental engineers are the future. We're joined here with the president of AAEEES, Jake Delaria. Jake, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So you are a senior mechanical engineer, right?
Yep. I love that centripetal force, the true science.
Nice. How'd you get started with the environmental engineering club?
Well, first I switched out of mechanical engineering because, you know, I'm more of the square article forces, big difference. Started up environmental engineering, started my freshman year. I was looking for a way to, you know, get to know all the other environmentals. We're a very small major here on campus. So I found AAEEES, or A's as we call it internally. Joined freshman year, rose my way through the ranks. I've been president for 2 years now.
That's a good pronunciation of AAEES. It's a mouthful. I mean, you wouldn't think about it just from looking at the acronym, but during the budget meeting, that was like the treasurer was struggling with that. So is the American Academy of Environmental Engineers and Scientists on Twitter, Facebook? How do you get the word out?
We have a Facebook page. We're really pushing forward now with it. You know, we make events for everything we go to now, including our GBMs, which are a big way of pushing the letter. We also do a duck sync, which is our original and our main way of communications. Everyone on the duck sync gets a notification. So if you want to follow us, it's AAEES Stevens Student Chapter on Facebook, or just look us up on DuckSync.
Nice. Yeah, WCPR does a similar thing where they don't have a mailing list per se, but if you follow them on OrgSync, all their messages get emailed to people. So what events are you guys planning next semester? Like, what can people look forward to over the winter intersession?
So our newest events for the spring semester are going to be our monthly GBMs.
Yeah.
So we do an event a month. And usually this semester we're going to be doing our Liam lecture series, which is a new thing we just started last semester. Our own Liam O'Connell, it gives a very short, very funny presentation on something kind of environmentally related. This last one was transportation, and we filled out BC 221, and the whole crowd was laughing. He's a comical genius. On top of that, we're also doing Environmental Jeopardy, where we make, basically it's Stevens/environmental/Jeopardy. So there's a few questions on, you know, just general trivia. Then there's environmental trivia, and then there's like Stevens memes, which I'm still trying to make now. But look forward for that next semester, probably March.
You left out an event for the spring. I saw on your budget. I'm a senator on the budget committee. You had budgeted for an egg painting event. That got cut, obviously. What was the SGA's reasoning?
So apparently, all us and 3 other organizations had an egg painting event. So instead of having each person have an egg painting event, they just kind of conglomerate into one big event.
Yeah.
So with us, our event, we usually have a spring event. So last year we tried a egg painting event, and it went okay. We're going to do that again this semester. Or if we had any other ideas, think of it and just roll over the money or change it around. But because of this, we lost the event. So it's either we're going to co-work with the other 2 organizations, or just nix it entirely.
As we heard earlier, our club, it had a similar thing happen to them. How does it feel being in the same boat as Art Club? Different subcommittees cut events because they were too similar.
It is a little odd, I will admit, to just have an event that our most budgeted event just disappear. I kind of understand the reasoning, but at the same time, it's just very different to me. Okay.
So with PAX, they focused their egg painting on sort of a Polish theme. With Art Club, they wanted to recreate the Ukrainian way of painting eggs. In your case, do the eggs represent Jesus Christ? And you don't have to make up an answer because I won't be offended. I'm Christian. Chew.
Bless you. Actually, we usually do this event because we want the eggs to represent our own President Varden.
Yeah.
Because on the outside he has a very hard shell, it seems, but on the inside he's a real softie and really just cares about Stevens.
Interesting. All right. So the reason why the SJ was cutting events this semester and the previous semester is because recently the student activity fee was changed from $250 to $200, and in addition, now part of the money that we collect from the student activity fee goes towards paying one of the administrators in the student life. So, Phil, can we pull up the breakdown of tuition and see where everything's going? Oh, come on! Stevens 2.0. Okay, never mind. Talking about the internet, are you on Reddit?
Reddit Imager, yeah. I actually just did the Imager Secret Santa.
Are you shadow banned from r/Stevens like me?
I am not. How'd you do that?
Well, I don't know. I didn't post anything inflammatory. Well, okay, I posted 2 things. I heard you're really good at writing emails. You have applied to many job positions over the years. You think you can help me out?
Sure, what do you need?
I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Midnight Movie Movement got suspended because of something that I'm not quite sure of. And I want to send an email to the president of that club, Christian Benitez. Do you know him?
Good friend of mine, yeah.
Cool, cool.
Love Benitez. Frankie Ali, too. Good friend of mine.
So the email I have so far says, "Hey Christian, I heard MMM was suspended because of a complaint from one of the new Stevens administration hires. I'd like to interview you on that subject sometime early next semester. I'd also like to get MMM's take on the matter and allow the opportunity for you guys to present some sort of defense for your club doing more shadowcasts. The format of the interview will be similar to the video linked below." And then there's the link, and then I say, "Let me know if this is something that interests you, Christian." Because it's a joke. His name is Christian. My name is Christian. Whenever I meet someone whose name is Chris, or whenever I'm talking to one of my friends who's named Chris, I say, "Hey, Chris," and he says, "Hey, Chris." Yeah.
It's amazing humor here, man. Why aren't you on Off Center? Jeez. Good. I think it's missing some Fallout 4, though. He's a big fan of Fallout 4. That'll definitely hook him in. I'm stealing this. This is mine now.
Okay.
Yeah, that works. Okay, that's good enough. Go.
All right.
No,
okay.
no, it's not.
Send. All right. Thanks. So I'll get a email from him probably over the break. I don't know what you wrote because I didn't look at it.
Good.
So my
Oh boy.
two last questions. Senior senators have resigned, and there are now openings. On a scale of topaz to aquamarine, how likely would you run for one of those if I gave you the nomination sheet right now?
I would say probably Peridot because I'm not going to.
Well, since you won't have any representation on the Senate, I'd like to get your ideas on how you would solve the budgeting crisis. Not entirely, but any way that you would help make the SGA's life a bit easier and probably limit the debate from 10 hours to maybe 9 hours and 40 seconds.
It'd be nice. So they're definitely still trying to find that sweet spot, in my opinion, between how much they're charging the students and what the money's going to.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to also find out what big event they're going to be doing over the year. So, you know, we just tried the Off Center, the On Point event, which I thought went very well. I got a new favorite band because of it, Power Bottom, because they really made a great show.
I like Say Goodnight.
Say goodnight. Yeah. Say goodnight. Yeah. Say goodnight.
Yeah. Well, wait.
Internal joke.
It's all right. Don't worry. And that last band too that went unnamed, unfortunately. But once they find that sweet spot, you know, if they have to increase the student activity fee. When I was first, it was $400. So the fact that it's gone down this much, I applaud. But if it was about $250, you know, I don't really see everyone here going in arms about it.
Right. Okay. That's all the questions I had. Thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
There's been a bunch of new student organizations recently, some of which include the Stevens Women in Computer Science, the Stevens Society of Women in Business, and now there are talks of Stevens Women in Finance, or whatever club has the acronym SWIF. I'm joined here with the president of the OG Girls Club, the Society of Women Engineers, Sydney Slavic. Thanks, Sydney, for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
So you are a senior mechanical engineer, right?
Yes, I am. Yep.
How'd you get into mechanical engineering?
So it's the most popular major here at Stevens. So, you know, I had to follow the crowd. Engines, trucks, you know, everything like that really, really sticks out to me.
So how did you get started with the Society of Women Engineers?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I started going to, I saw the meetings in my dorm room halls, you know, all the girls were going to these SWE meetings. So I went out my freshman year and then ended up getting a PR position. So it just took off from there. I just, you know, got involved ever since that.
Right. You guys still sell STEMinist shirts, right?
Yeah, we do. We had a really big sale this semester. We sold over 70 shirts, which was really huge for us. We sold 3 different colors. So yeah, we're going to make that an annual event.
Nice. What is a STEMinist? I have a picture in my head, and I just imagine a praying mantis because of the stem. Would you mind explaining what it actually means?
You know, the praying mantis is really what it means, so I'm glad you figured that out. But we like to think that it just involves people from all backgrounds, women males, everyone being involved in STEM and working together to make STEM a big major that we're all proud to be a part of.
So is SWE on any forms of social media? Do you guys have a Twitter, Facebook, OrgSync?
Yeah, we are. We are actually really active on our Instagram, so that would probably be our main social media platform. We are also very active on our Facebook. We post all of our events there. We also post all of our events on our DuckSync. So if you're ever looking to come out to one of our GBMs or any of our other events, I would definitely check DuckSync, Facebook, or Instagram because we send out reminders pretty frequently.
Do you also have an email list?
Yeah, we do. We do.
All right.
If you're interested in being in the email list, you can email SWE@stevens.edu and we'll hook you up.
Nice. So what events do you guys have planned for next semester? Like, what can people look forward to?
Yeah, so next semester we're hoping to have a back-to-school holiday party in the beginning of the semester. Then we're hoping to have a healthcare seminar so people can come out and learn what's in their products that they're using, from shampoos, conditioners, to dish soap and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about that one because I'm very passionate about that myself. Also, we're hoping to partner with other SWE chapters around New Jersey to host a SWE summit. So leaders from the SWE chapters will be able to attend and gain leadership skills and experience in what it means to be in SWE across the nation. So that's really exciting. And those are a few of our events next semester besides our general body meetings. So.
Okay. I noticed that you guys had kept the 100% that you requested for the spring semester. And I think I know why. It's because you didn't budget for an egg painting event. How could you? 3 other organizations did it.
That's probably why. We just knew it would be cut anyway. So.
All right. I see what you're on too. So with the formation of, getting into a serious topic, with the formation of SWICS and SWIB, have you noticed in the past semester or two that attendance at SWE meetings has been decreasing?
Yeah, we have. So normally our attendance at the beginning of the semester is very high anyway.
Yep.
You have the influx of freshmen who are all really excited to come out to the meetings. So we had over 80 people at our first GBM, and I think at our last one we had maybe 10 people. So I definitely think that the creation of the Women in Computer Science Club, as well as Women in Business, has attributed to that decrease in attendance. So you would be correct in saying that, I think.
So what keeps people coming back to SWE meetings week after week? Like, what differentiates you guys? Is it the fondue?
Yes, well, our fondue night is one of our most popular events. We just had that last week and went really well. I also think that the draw to the amount of people that we have like over 400 people on our mailing list, so we always have different people coming out. We have different speakers usually, and just a lot of opportunity. Our national conference is also huge, so normally people who are looking to go to that conference also attend our meetings and are just very involved in SWE.
Nice. So in the future, if you're still on the board, either a president or a treasurer, and it's budgeting season and the SGA goes to you and says, there are 2 other organizations that have a similar event as you guys. We're going to cut your event, and you guys should contact this other organization for a co-sponsorship. How would you defend your event and keep it within SWE?
Yeah, so I think I would really highlight just what SWE has done for this campus and just what SWE is all about. I think if we were to partner with other organizations, the attendance might not even be much higher, because most people aren't really willing to go to another organization's event if they aren't really involved in that organization, unless it's a larger event that is open to like all of campus and is really publicized.
Right.
So if, say, the Naval Engineering Society is having an event that we wanted to have, I don't think our members would be really willing to go to that as much as if we had it. So I think it could be equally as beneficial to have us have a similar event to them with our members.
Are you familiar with the trolley problem?
I am, yeah.
Would you pull the lever?
So I thought about this question a lot, actually. Being a science, technology, and society double major in combination with my mechanical engineering degree, excuse me. I really don't think I can determine an answer to this problem because this really pulls at determinism, excuse me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know until I was in that situation if I would or would not pull the lever. So.
What if instead of Harambe getting shot, Harambe was actually tied to the tracks, the lower tracks?
Oh man. Well, I think we all know that answer. Obviously, I would not pull the lever to his side.
Okay. So being part of the Society of Women Engineers, I assume you wanted the next president to be an engineer, correct?
Well, Not necessarily. I don't really want to get into politics here, I think.
Okay. I didn't vote either because my polling place is really far away, and I didn't submit an absentee ballot.
Oh, why not?
I said I voted for Trump just to like rile people up, but I didn't vote for anyone. So I'm on the budget committee, and we're always looking for ideas on how to make meeting times less. Do you have any ideas on solving the budget shortfall? Because this happens semester to semester, and it's kind of a pain.
Yeah, so I think right now the way they do it is that organizations of similar, you know, how professional organizations are together, cultural subcommittees are together. So I think that shouldn't be the case. I think societies that have proven, that have been here the longest and have proven to have the most successful events should have priority in the budget committee. So they should go first, and then a possible accreditation system could go into place where organizations should submit a document with all of their events, attendance, how much they budgeted for that event and how much they used. So it can be in one place during that meeting, just to compare to the budget that's requested for next semester, just to see they were successful in the past, therefore we should give them priority in the future.
Right.
I also think that we personally do a lot of K through 12 outreach events with our organization, which are probably one of our more popular events other than Fondue Night. And I think that the school should maybe provide funding for that or allow budgeting for those events because they are more popular events and they involve people outside of Stevens that could potentially attend Stevens in the future, such as women, minorities, and stuff like that. So I think we should look into budgeting for those as well.
Do you want to explain the event that you said?
Yeah, so this semester we did a K through 12 event where we invited Girl Scouts in Hoboken to Stevens. We fundraise for the event, which is how we get funding because the SGA does not provide funding for that right now. So we hosted an event with them. We took them on a tour of Davidson Lab, and we also played little games. So we made them, create, I don't know how to describe it, but we made them create like a tunnel system like on the wall using like toilet paper rolls, bottles, and stuff like that. So they were able to figure out, see the effects of gravity and stuff like that. So it was really popular event.
Nice. Inside sources have suggested that you're on CODA, the Secret Senior Honor Society. We have here a psychological expert in the audience. I'm going to read you several names, and our senior secrecy correspondent will tell us which people are in CODA based on the micro expressions on your face. Let's begin. Matthew Hunt, Reba James, Trevor Batchelder, Thomas Daly, Erica Stevens, Gregory Klosaris, Sarah Victus, Desiree Batista, Sydney Slavic. There are currently 4 open positions for senior senators. On a scale of blue to orange, how likely would you be willing to run?
I'm going to say magenta. It's close to a hard red, but red's a little too close to orange, so no.
All right. It's all right. So that's all the questions I had. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I hope you all got a better sense of what the student body thinks about this, and I hope more senators watch this video than my last one, especially since it's not me just making fun of someone's laugh this time. Cutting select organizations' events that are similar in nature to other organizations' events simply sets the stage for conflict. I don't know if you realize this, but what happened with Art Club, AAEES, and PAX looks like favoritism, even if that wasn't the intention. By cutting events in this fashion, the SGA runs the risk of pitting organizations against each other. There has to be a better way to balance the budget. My solution to the semesterly budgeting crisis is to cut all speakers that cost more than $2,000 from RSO budgets. Individual student organizations, no matter who they are, should not have clearance to pay for a speaker with a high price tag. The SGA had a speaker committee for a reason. Each semester they would get one amazing general speaker like Bill Nye the Science Guy or Damon John the Shark to come to campus. Each time one of these speakers would give their talk, the entirety of DeBon Auditorium would get filled to the brim. Conversely, 2 years ago when the college Republicans brought Ann Coulter to campus, she ended up having absolutely nothing of value to say and suggested that China executes people. Having student orgs budget for speakers that only apply to a very narrow segment of the population isn't really fiscally responsible. I'd prefer an across-the-board cut of speakers over 2,000 rather than continue using the current solution, which relies on individual senators' biases, preferences, and fears. With regards to this budgeting cycle, Torch Alliance budgeted for an $11,000 intersectionality speaker. We all knew that denying that request would have subjected us to others calling the Senate a bunch of bigots. We would have had the diversity officer mad at us, the dean of student life mad at us, and not to mention the entirety of Torch Alliance mad at us. No one in their right mind would have voted against the speaker request, knowing how much of a public relations nightmare it would have caused. The SGA approved the speaker. However, they cut the college Republicans' request for a $5,000 conservative speaker on the grounds that it would cost more than $5,000. Not only was this decision inconsistent, but it was the second time in a row that the college Republicans' request for a speaker had been denied, making an already small minority of conservatives feel even more targeted by the so-called liberal majority. And don't think for a second that representation didn't play a large role. The college Republicans did not send a representative to the Budget Committee meeting. However, Torch Alliance made sure their rep was present for a majority of the 10 hours, just to make sure nothing else got cut. After the abolishment of the Speaker Committee, it's now the loudest voice that gets their choice of speaker, while the less represented groups get nothing. Budgeting for the SGA is a messy business, and no one really wants to be the senator who tells an RSO point blank that their event, or that their speaker, or their conference isn't important enough. I never promised to have all the answers to the problems I discuss, and quite frankly, if I did promise, I'd be lying to myself. Hopefully this show provided you with some insight that would normally be inaccessible to the average uninformed student. And if you're still left with a feeling of unease and unanswered questions, then take it up with your district senators. That's all, folks.
And if I
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Chris. Great job.
are nothing at all. Half a lot.
Woo! Finish strong.
How do you pronounce the A in your last name?
Slavic.
Okay, Slavic. I hope you all got a better sense of what the student body thinks about this, and I hope this thing is not on. No.